Hi, I'm ThatPaulGuy, and it's Thursday. Thursday, 7/11/2019. 7-Eleven, as in 7-Eleven, the retailer, 7-Eleven, the convenience store, 7-Eleven, the place where you can get a free Slurpee on 7-Eleven. They do this every year now, so free small Slurpee on 7-Eleven at your local 7-Eleven. So, no, I'm not endorsed by 7-Eleven. If you do happen to miss it, that's okay. You can download and sign into their app. Again, not being endorsed by 7-Eleven. You can download and sign into their app, and they're saying that for the next 30 days you can still get a small Slurpee, one per customer please, but they're not going to forget about you just because you can't get in on 7-Eleven. They really want to share with everybody. So free Slurpees on 7-Eleven and even a little bit beyond that. So good for you, 7-Eleven. More 7s. AMD announced their 7nm launch this past weekend on 7/7, Sunday, July 7th. All their 7nm CPUs, the 3000 series Ryzen's, and their 7mm GPUs, their 5700 and 5700 XT, all came out in one day. Had all the reviewers going crazy trying to keep up with everything. I'm sure they're all exhausted right now, but they have pretty much across the board given pretty good marks to the processors, both the CPUs and the GPUs. The one drawback to the GPU evidently is that, like any other AMD GPU, it has a lot of heat. So they're hoping that some of the board partners will come out with their own custom cooling solutions and be able to take care of that. Those look like they're going to come out mid-August or so. You'll have your typical MSI, ASUS, and some of those guys, the board partners, coming out with these GPUs. They should have a much better cooling solution. They have given some tips also to some other cooling solutions that you can do on the AMD cards themselves to try to help. So we'll see how that goes. But places like Micro Center especially, Micro Center had people waiting to get in on Sunday morning, and of course they sold out of product. So looks to be going pretty well. AMD seems to have kind of foreseen this, and they're trying to make sure everything stays stocked. And so we might have a good run at this. That means that NVIDIA and Intel might have to really consider their prices again. NVIDIA just launched last week their Super line, which put a couple of GPUs out there to fit in and kind of head off the AMD thing. Well, the reviewers are saying that those AMD video cards that are comparable to those releases look a little bit better than those releases. So we might have to look again. And then there's a rumor out there that Intel is going back to their CPUs again, and this time it'll be on the 14+++ nanometer chipset. Well, it's going to be the same chipset, but it's going to be on a different lithography. So you got the same architecture, but a little bit more efficiently drawn microchip. And so we'll see what that happens. That's supposed to add 2 more cores and 4 more threads, and ideally for the same price. No confirmed rumors. That just came out as a rumor, so we'll see what happens. But Intel probably is working on something like that. I wouldn't put it past them. They keep on trying to squeeze every bit they can out of the same architecture. In space news, a new asteroid's been found. The new asteroid's name is 2019 LF6. And you're saying, great, what's so damn special about an LF6, 2019 LF6? Well, this particular asteroid was a little bit hard to find. And you say, they're all hard to find. Yes, okay. This one was particularly hard to find because it was actually inside the orbit of Mercury, going to just outside the orbit of Venus. It takes an orbit of our sun in about 151 days. It's a kilometer-wide piece, or a kilometer-sized piece of hunk of rock. And it orbits on, looks like it's a tilted plane that's not on the same plane as all the rest of the planets, so the chances of it actually hitting Mercury or Venus are probably pretty slim. But congrats to the folks at Caltech that ended up finding this. So even in 2019, we're still finding things in our orbits or in our solar system that we didn't see, and actually closer than we were looking. So it's pretty interesting. Not everything can be rockets. But just in case you are looking for rockets, congratulations to Sir Richard Branson, who does not need my congratulations, but he is about to take Virgin Galactic public. This will be your first actual space tourism company that's publicly traded. Right now they're gearing up for 2019 passenger launches. They want to put people in orbit. Just regular passengers, your regular paying public tourists. They want to put those people in orbit by the end of this year. Run you about $250,000 to $300,000. But it looks like Virgin Galactic is going to be publicly traded, and you can, you can buy a part of your own space tourism business. They have, it looks like, also been approved to launch rockets from their launch vehicles, the airplanes they use to launch their space planes. Looks like they might also be able to launch rockets. Don't know what the connotations of that are yet, but congrats anyway. Good job, Virgin Galactic. So there's your rockets. Game news. Let's talk a little bit about games and gaming news. Right now you can go to GameStop or you can order online. We talked a little bit last week, I think it was, about Steam having their summer sale, and now that's already over, but now GameStop is having their summer sale through the 20th. At their brick and mortar stores and online, the typical discounts. I mean, I'm sure we're all familiar with them. Anything from a couple bucks off on a used game to, to buy two, get one free to, whatever percentage off on game consoles. They're typical type of sales, but every day, evidently, it's a big blowout. Everything's on sale. It's their summer sale. So, hey, I'm not being endorsed by GameStop. I'm just saying, since we're talking about games and where to get them, that sale's going on right now. It's sort of my PSA for you. As far as game tie-ins, there's a couple of them going on. Stranger Things 3 on Netflix. Never have been a big fan, never really watched it. I know there are people that are big fans. There's a tie-in to Apex Legends. There's some mysterious portals in Apex Legends that will actually take you to different parts of the player map. Don't know what the tie-in is to Stranger Things yet, but do know it's being touted as that, and so we'll have to wait and see. But that's one of the things going on, and you'll be able to, when you get into Apex Legends, you'll be able to see those or find those, and then get zapped to some other part of a map. So there's your tie-in for that. It should be pretty interesting to see how that plays out. Meanwhile, Netflix also has The Witcher coming. That should be later this summer, I think it is. The Witcher is actually not going to be based on the video game version. It's going to be based on the book version. Yes, they do still write books. This will be based on the book version instead of the game version, so there'll be some slight differences. One Man of Steel will be your star. Superman, Henry Cavill. Cavill? I'm not sure how you pronounce that. I'm sure he'd be able to tell me better, but he's the man that's going to be the main starring role in this. So that will hit Netflix, I think it's by the end of the summer. I wanted to say somewhere between the end of summer and October. I don't know for sure, but I do know what's coming. The last bit of gaming news I got, Nintendo, after swearing up and down they weren't going to do anything else with their Switch, that was the only model you were getting of the Nintendo Switch, has said, we're just kidding. We're giving you a Nintendo Lite. It's going to cost about $200. It's not going to be wireless. You won't be able to take the joysticks or the joy things off. It's going to be all one unit. It's going to be a slightly downsized, slightly downsized version, but it will have a better processor in it, a more efficient processor, which incidentally is being made by NVIDIA, and that is going to run about $200. Don't know the exact time frame of that. I'm sure somebody probably said, but I was passing it, and that's something I was actually just looking at earlier this morning. So that's passing along to you. Nintendo Lite. They are also rumored now to be making an upgraded version, but of course Nintendo denies that rumor too. So that ought to be announced next week. How's that? So we've been talking a little bit about the Sprint T-Mobile merger. And yeah, they might still, this was actually supposed to be approved weeks ago, and then a couple weeks back, and then last week, and we're still working on it. And then Dish Network stepped in, and now Google has stepped in. Google has taken up with Dish Network and said, hey, we'll do this with you. So it looks like Google and Dish Network might end up becoming your fourth wireless carrier. So Google, who's already king of the internet search, all fingerprints all over the internet, has now told us that they're coming out with a console-less game system, and now they might be your fourth wireless carrier. Anybody familiar with Skynet? Anyway, don't take a nap on Google. Looks like they're taking over the universe. I'm just saying. One last thing I got this week, I just want to say that I'm glad that all my friends in California are fine and that there was no major property damage, nobody got hurt or anything like that. A couple of shakeups over the 4th of July weekend. on Friday and Saturday, I think it was. I'm glad that everybody's safe and that no big property damage, and this wasn't the big one, and this wasn't like a 7.4 that would hit the San Andreas Fault and drop you guys into the ocean or anything. But no, seriously, I'm glad everybody's okay, and I hope you continue to be. So that's what that is. That's all I got for this week, folks. As always, you're welcome to hit that red subscribe bar. That little bell icon will tell you when I'm doing more of these videos. Thumbs up, thumbs down, any kind of comments or questions you got for me. I'm welcome. Yeah, I'll try to answer as much as I can. Thumbs up, subscribe. Yeah, all that good stuff. Okay. Anyway, and that's all I got for this week. Like I said, give me any kind of comments, any kind of questions, any kind of anything. I'm all for it. And I'm going to put out, I got some stuff that I'm still working on. The video cardless build, I'm still doing benchmarks. Ran into a little bit of problem with my own personal computer that I will explain to you guys, as well as doing benchmarks on that computer. And we'll just go over all the stuff when it comes out. But that's probably going to be a little bit later this week if I can get it done. But otherwise, I will have some other content coming up. But that's all I got for today for 7/11/2019. That's all I got, folks. So until next time, I'll see you later.